In this episode, we will be segmenting and removing noise from the point cloud. When you see a really nice clean point cloud animation being shared online, it's fairly rare it came straight out of the registration software looking that way. With N4ce, we can clean datasets extremely fast and efficiently. To start cleaning our point cloud, let's create a new group by clicking the Add Group button in the Model Properties panel, labeling it Noise, and changing its display mode to use a group color and its color to red, so that as I fill that group with unwanted noise, those points will be colored red. To start manually cleaning the point cloud, we can use the Group by Polygon tool in the Point Cloud Tools tab. Set your target group to noise, uncheck in polygon, and window the points you want to keep by left-clicking your mouse and ending your selection with a right click. To turn off our classified points, we can uncheck the box next to noise in the Model Properties panel. In N4ce, we don't actually delete points. We group them and turn that group off. With this group turned off, any process I run on the data, or say I exported the point cloud, it would act as if those points did not exist, essentially as if they were deleted, but I can still bring them back in at any point. This saves us from that sinking feeling of wishing we had those points we deleted yesterday, which I'm sure most of us have all experienced. When we want to take a more targeted approach, check the In Polygon box and window specific areas you want to add to that noise group. When doing this, I find it handy to use the clipping box found in the Point Cloud Tools tab to isolate areas as I work, especially when removing reflections from windows and mirrors. And if you're working with a structured point cloud, you can work one scan at a time just like you would in the registration software. If you make a mistake, change your target group and put those points back where they came from. When making a polygon in N4ce, it may be a bit different than what you're used to in other 3D software packages, and you may find it easier to stick with a simple 3 or 4-sided polygon. When you start trying to push out sides of the polygon that have already been created, it might start to act up a bit. The 2D camera mode is used to get an orthographic top-down view and can be very handy for getting in close and cleaning noise that cuts through a vertical plane. And to take this technique a step further, you can also window out reflections and other noise data in a section view. And to really take this to the next level, you can actually undock your section view, put it on a whole other screen, and maximize the view of what you're working on. One screen has your 3D view and the other has your section view. This might be the most efficient and tactile method to manually clean reflection noise out of a scan that I have personally ever used. And just a tip when doing this, use the greater than and less than keys on your keyboard to jump your section up and down instead of the right click and drag method, as that will end your group by polygon tool. Any grouping and edits we make to a point cloud are being done to the awk tree we converted and not necessarily at the project level. So even if we open this point cloud in a different project, those edits are carried over with it. Let's look at a different dataset that was captured with a terrestrial scanner that produces a bit more noise to see how the SOR filter works. When we clip out one of these beams, we can see there is a lot of noise surrounding it. We can remove the vast majority of this by running the noise filter tool in the Point Cloud Tools tab. A word of caution with this tool, it can take some time on larger multi-billion point datasets. So if you're working on something big, plan for it to cook for a while. As such, the general process for this tool is to use the clipping box to test your settings on a small sample size, then remove the clipping box and rerun the settings that work on the entire dataset. You don't want to burn 20 minutes only to come back and see that you're not happy with the results. Using clusters seems to work a bit better for me, so that's the method we'll use today. If the point cloud hasn't already been decimated, I can also choose to do that now with the densify filter, which will remove points that are within a set distance of other points, essentially useless overlapping points. Keep in mind you cannot undo this filter, so if too much data is moved to the noise group, you'll need to merge groups and then try to filter again. I've had the most success with this filter by setting the grow radius just about double the decimation size when there is an even distribution of points on all the surfaces. So for example, this dataset was decimated to 5 millimeters, and if I set the grow radius to 10 millimeters, it will remove most of the noise from the points that are not on an actual physical surface. If you have a point cloud with a less even point distribution, you'll need to be less aggressive with your settings. It's essentially clustering points together based on the two settings you can control. If there are enough points to make a cluster, they won't be removed. Otherwise, they will be considered noise and pushed into your target group. This noise filter is great for removing outlier points, but it can take some good sparse data with it if you get too aggressive. There is a direct correlation between the intensity value of a LiDAR captured point and the level of confidence in the position of that point. So much so that there are actually registration programs that do error propagation on LiDAR data using measured intensity values. But for our purpose of noise removal, this also means point intensity is a valuable measurement for separating the good data from the bad. I like to start by visualizing the cloud by intensity with the default color scheme of red to blue so that red points have low intensity and therefore are more likely to be noise. We'll launch the Group by Intensity tool in the Point Cloud Tools tab. Make a new group to feed our noise into, and I can use either the Pick Intensity button that will set a range, which combined with the value we picked will define the window of points to group that can be visualized by toggling the Hide Other Intensities button. Or I prefer to manually set my range. For this dataset, I'll choose to segment 0 to 25,000 and move any point with an intensity value in that range to my intensity noise group by clicking Apply. We can see how our results turned out by coloring our noise groups as using the Group Colors display mode and our remaining data as green and toggling the noise on and off. Keep in mind, different scanners range intensity values differently, and some filtering by intensity may have already been done in the registration software. The last dataset was from a Regal VZ600i, and this one is from an RTC 360, where I must use a much smaller intensity range. If I set my range from 0 to 1000, we can see it does a really good job of removing the vast majority of reflected points while taking very few points along with it. In a matter of minutes, we were able to turn a fairly ugly dataset into something that doesn't look half bad at all. We have one final trick up our sleeve for cleaning structured point clouds in N4ce. Just like there is a direct correlation between intensity and accuracy, there is also a direct correlation between range and accuracy. Points captured from a further distance from the scanner will be less accurate than those captured closer to the scanner. Often we filter by range during the registration process to negate this, but this turns into a balancing act between scan shadowing and data quality. If we set our range too small, we may filter out too many points, which can cause gaps in the data. And typically, once those points are gone, it can be difficult to bring them back in depending on the registration software. And sometimes this step is missed altogether. By using the scan distance threshold display modifier in N4ce, we can accomplish the same task and have complete control over the distance from scan of the points we want to keep, and at any time we can turn it off to bring those points back in if they happen to fill in some gaps where we need those longer range points. To export your point cloud, open the Point Cloud I/O tab, and in the Export group, click the Select File button. Navigate to your file destination of choice, then choose a name and format. I typically choose to export as an LAZ. Make sure local coordinates is unchecked to retain your georeferencing. The points being visualized in the 3D view is what will be exported. If you turn on your noise groups we just created, those will still be classified in your exported point cloud. If they're turned off, those points will not be exported. And if you're using a clipping box, only the points in that box will be exported. When you're satisfied with the points being displayed, click the Export Points button and your new file will be created. Well, that wraps up this episode. Stick around to see how we can digitize on an orthophoto while simultaneously sampling the point cloud for elevations. And if you only have point cloud data, I'll show you how to create an orthophoto from it.